Oh boy! Wait, you're not the usual... Oh, yuck, nasty. I hate it when cotton candy goes stale. Not how I wanted to start this review, but I suppose I'll have to make do. So, let's talk about Killer Klowns from Outer Space. This was a movie that was written, produced, and directed by the Kyoto brothers. Yes, the same brothers who did the troll costumes and effects in Ernest Scared Stupid made their own movie, made their own horror film back in 1988. Prior to and following the movie, the brothers are best known for providing their talents to such projects such as the Critters franchise, the 1991 Land of the Lost TV series, Elf, Team America, World Police, and even the Large Marge scene from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
It looked like this.
Sorry for the nightmare fuel, but don't worry, there'll be plenty more during the review. Anyway, the movie was originally just going to be called Killer Klowns before they added the From Outer Space part to avoid it sounding like another slasher film. Which, considering how many of those existed at the time, makes perfect sense. And it would do them really well, because this movie would prove itself to be worthy of its status as a cult classic. For this was more than just another horror film, it was a unique experience. And assuming those clowns, with a K, don't bother me while they're finding more victims, let us watch this 80s horror cult classic together. We open with what's essentially the movie's theme song. This was done by the punk band The Dickies, who made this song without actually seeing the movie. Still, they certainly capture the movie's tone with their choice in lyrics. But anyway, we check out the Big Top Burger in Crescent Cove. This one police officer, Curtis Mooney, played by John Vernon, is being a typical cop who has to put up with teenagers, or college students I guess, doing party stuff because it's Friday. And we all know what the young people like to do. Drink alcohol and make out. Oh, but don't forget the ice cream.
A tasty treat for while you screw.
Get out of here, you morons. Hey, take your ice cream and get lost.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, that's why you don't serve ice cream in the middle of the night. Even Barney Rubble wouldn't do something like, oh right, he did. We also get introduced to a couple of our main characters. Mike and Debbie, played by Grant Kramer and Suzanne Snyder, who make out on a rubber raft while staring up at the stars, until they see something fly across the sky and want to check it out. Farmer Gene, played by Royal Dano, thinks this is Halley's Comet and that it landed right in his backyard, so he's gonna be rich. But once he gets further in, all he finds is a circus tent in the middle of the woods. I don't know what's going on, but I do love the circus. Let's get some lifetime passes. Little does he know that he's being stalked by something in the shadows. Literally, a shadowy figure from inside the tent follows him and through whatever strange power it has, makes a hole and takes his dog, Pooh Bear.
What in tarnation's going on here?
Want to try that again?
Where's my Pooh Bear? I'll tear this thing apart with my bare hands!
Well, I love the acting here. Just the right amount of over the top. And he died. No? That electrocution didn't do anything, but this creepy ass clown might. Seriously, now that's a creepy clown. We'll get more into the clown designs later, since we just started and we've yet to meet the rest of them. Also, I'd like to take this moment to apologize to anyone watching this video who may be suffering from coulrophobia, the fear of clowns. Really should have put up a disclaimer at the start. Whoops. Meanwhile, Mooney brings in a couple of drunk college students who were out in the park with wine. Mooney shows how intolerant he is of their kind, though his partner, Dave, played by John Allen Nelson, is a little more understanding.
Wine, what's the problem?
You're the problem, you little shit!
Open container, public intoxication, littering, disturbing the peace, resisting arrest.
When you bring someone into the station, I don't want to see you beating them up.
Now, if you're gonna book them, do it according to procedure. Or I swear, Kurt, you and that badge of yours will be history.
Oh hey, a cop character who actually gives a damn. What a rare occurrence. Moving on, Mike and Debbie find the tent that Gene went into, and like the dumbass kids they are, they go inside, and instead of it being like a typical circus tent, it seems a lot more complex than they thought.
What kind of circus is this?
This is that new wave European Circus Fantastique.
Well, they do love their Eurovision, so maybe they like creative circus acts. They don't seem too bothered by this place, since they believe it was designed by clowns after all. It checks out, but soon they realize that this is no fun house, this must be a spaceship. After all, they did see a shooting star. It landed here, so it must be that. They find a room filled with cotton candy, and while Mike thinks this might still just be a normal thing, he soon finds out what's really in that cotton candy.
What?
Yikes. Glad I broke out before that happened to me. They spot one of the clowns, nicknamed Rudy by the directors, bring in another cocoon, and I gotta say, the sets in this are pretty interesting. The tech they use seems to be based on props or other things associated with Earth clowns, but used for their own otherworldly technology. Whatever these clowns are, you won't be looking at regular clowns the same ever again. Upon seeing someone they knew, Mike drops something which alerts Rudy and they make a getaway. Rudy pursues them with some kind of popcorn gun, which is said to be the most expensive prop they made, with it costing $7,000 and 6 weeks to build it, because it is actually able to shoot popcorn in real life. Other than managing to reach them after exiting the tent, it doesn't seem to do anything else, so why?
Because the clowns, that's why!
Ask a stupid question, get a stupid answer. Anyway, Rudy is joined by our next clown character, Spiky. And if you listen closely, they both speak their own language. Well, they are aliens, so it does make sense. Also, I guess the popcorn is what will help track the kids, because Spiky makes a balloon dog that acts like a real one, and they use it to follow them like a bloodhound. While the kids manage to knock them down with their car, a third clown, Bibbo, tries jumping on their car and is knocked off too. Debbie thinks they should tell the police, as she has a friend there, but Mike thinks they wouldn't believe them. Given the history of horror films with monsters, this makes sense. But now the clowns know where to go and walk their way towards town. Meanwhile, the kids make it to the station and inform Dave about what happened, who just happens to be Debbie's ex-boyfriend. Dave is at least willing to listen, while Mooney acts like an asshole the whole time. An entertaining asshole, but still, someone needs to punch him.
Killer clowns from outer space. Holy shit.
At least he doesn't try to stop them from leaving, but he does give us this little piece of foreshadowing.
Go ahead, Dave. Make a dummy out of yourself. But you're not gonna make a dummy out of me.
Meanwhile, the clowns begin their excursion of the town. They are on the hunt for humans, and they do so in a way that only a clown would think of. One of the first examples is using a puppet show to get this one guy off guard before giving him the zap zap. Then there's what happened to me, where they bring pizza to some woman, but surprise! Well, at least I'm still alive. And there's one involving a clown named Fatso. Yes, really. Who gives this one lady a box of chocolates? And she's like,
Is this from you?
It's amusing, all the same. The clown's method of kidnapping people is befitting to the title of the movie, and allows for a lot of creativity down the line. Anyway, it turns out Dave won't let Debbie come with them in case they're wrong about the whole thing, and he'd have to put her in jail. So they drop her off, Mike reassures her that he'll be fine, and they return to where the tent should be, but now there's only a big hole in the ground.
Oh, so now you just think you saw.
No, I know what I saw. I just can't prove it. My proof is gone.
Yeah, right. Turn around, pal. Mooney was right, huh? Got nothing better to do but cause problems.
Okay, first of all, even if the proof is gone, there's still a giant-ass crater in the ground that you don't know what caused it, so there's some possibility that something is seriously wrong around here. Second, Did you really need to have this be the moment that makes you become like Mooney? So much for my earlier comment about him. Anyway, here comes Shorty, riding a tricycle up to a biker gang.
Big bad JoJo coming into town.
Wrong clown, buddy. Anyway, after one guy breaks his tricycle, Shorty decides to knock his block off. Literally. We can't handle this. Retreat! Oh, and if you think children are exempt from being killed by these clowns, think again.
Back here, young lady. You're not going anywhere till you finish your food.
Thank goodness for strict moms.
Amen to that, Auntie Nelda. Dave drives Mike to the makeout place, only to find it in ruin. There's abandoned cars and what remains of cotton candy? Oh, did the clowns come here? Well, now he believes Mike's story. Back at the station, Mooney keeps getting calls about the things happening in town, and he believes it to be one big prank. And now we know why he's such a grouch. He's drunk off his ass. Now, in a bit that might have looked a lot better on an older movie screen, we have another clown, Slim, chasing a guy in his car with an invisible car. I've heard of using tiny clown cars, but this is a new one for me. He runs him off the road, and I guess he's fine with just killing people instead of capturing them, since we don't see the guy come out after crashing. Meanwhile, Debbie prepares to have the obligatory shower scene that's in nearly every horror film of the time, and oh, the popcorn can move. Now I'm worried, especially once we see Jumbo here, the clown that killed Farmer Gene at the beginning, pour some popcorn into a dumpster, and when a Big Top Burger employee checks inside... Hopefully Debbie doesn't suffer from whatever fate that guy had. At any rate, Dave apologizes for being an asshole earlier because of him being an ex-boyfriend and all that. So he's redeemed himself for the time being. They're just in time too, because Slim is about to do some shadow puppet magic on this crowd of people. And honestly, he's pretty damn good at it. Wish I was that talented with my hands. I mean, he makes a bunny rabbit, an elephant, Washington crossing the Delaware, a beautiful woman, a scary looking glowing-eyed T-Rex that...
Holy shit!
Believe it.
Damn! These clowns are overpowered as hell! Mike tries to run him over, but they miss as Slim jumps away. Dave then calls Mooney to tell him what's happened and to call the state police. But at this point, Mooney is just convinced that everyone in this town's against me. I'm fed up with this world.
Well, it's gonna take a hell of a lot more than a lame prank like this to get Curtis Mooney to throw in his badge, so fuck you! Over.
I'm convinced Mooney is the best part of the movie. John Vernon really makes the character despisable, and I love it. Mike spots the Terenzi brothers, Rich and Paul, who were the guys using the ice cream truck at the start of the movie, and decides he'll need their help warning people while Dave goes back to the station. Mike at least convinces the brothers to get him to Debbie's by saying,
She's got two beautiful roommates with big boobs.
What are we waiting for?
As for Mooney, well, he finally gets his big encounter with Jumbo, but it goes differently from what I was expecting. I was expecting him to die here, but I guess it's too soon. Or not. Sure enough, Dave arrives, finds clown footprints all over the place, and the jail cells covered in cotton candy. Yeah, the two drunks are dead, but what about Mooney?
Hey, James. Who was the lady I saw you with last night?
Ha! Who's the dummy now, asshole? Ha!
Don't worry, Dave. All we want to do is kill you.
Well, at least they're honest about their intentions. Dave shoots, and it doesn't seem to do anything. That is, until he shoots the clown nose, which causes Jumbo to spin in place and eventually explode into confetti. Yeah, sounds about right. Dave gets a chance to call for help and appears successful despite doubts on the other end. As for Mike and crew, the Terenzi brothers don't believe in Mike, with Paul even saying,
"There are killer clowns running around here, then I'm Porky Pig."
But then, surprise, the circus parade of the apocalypse! Ah, what a fun parade. Lots of cotton candy, plenty of funny looking clowns. How can you not love this? Also, I'm not going to be able to name every single clown scene in the parade here or later on. If you want to know them, watch Tell It Animated's video explaining them all. Back with Debbie, we also see how the popcorn killed the one guy earlier, as they became Jack-in-the-Box clowns? Well, points for creativity, especially with how Debbie shoves the shower head into one to get away. Unfortunately, when she hears Mike's voice at the door...
Debbie, it's Mike, open up!
Mike?
Debbie!
This is especially funny since she tries going out the window, but there are clowns waiting outside with a trampoline and little firefighter hats. I tell ya, these guys are scary, but hilarious. And unlike everyone else, she doesn't get the regular cocoon. She gets the balloon one. Because she's a main character, probably. Mike and the Terenzis are too late as she's now been captured and they need to rescue her. Dave chases after her as well, but neither of them can catch up to the world's fastest clown car. Of course, no one told the brothers that Dave is with them and... Thankfully, they don't have to go too far, because if you were a clown, where would you go? The answer? The amusement park. And speaking of, this watchman is about to have his encounter with the clowns.
What are you going to do with those pies, boys?
Have a picnic. What do you think? What, were those acid pies? Don't forget the cherry. There you go. The boys head inside the crazy house, which certainly looks creepy with this lighting. The brothers question what the clowns are, why they came here, what they want, why they even look like clowns. Typical sci-fi alien talk. We get the classic, don't get lost, we won't get lost, and then the comic relief duo fall down a hole. Into a ball pit, where they are greeted by two girl clowns, Rosebud and Daisy, the latter having inflatable balloon boobs. Seriously.
Are you Debbie's roommate?
How have you survived for this long? Mike and Dave arrive in the ship and look for Debbie, who might have been transferred to a cocoon by this point, along with the rest of the town probably. They spot another clown, Chubby, who shows us the purpose of putting people in cocoons. Ew. Now I'm really glad I got out when I did. Though, what would I taste like? They'd be strawberry, and I would be blueberry? Oh well, moving on. They find Debbie inside the same balloon they trapped her in, and the only way to free her is to shoot it. But this alerts the clowns, so it's time to leave. While escaping, Dave manages to kill two of the clowns, and then things get really weird as they run through what's pretty much a fun house from Clown Hell.
Open the door! Another door!
Come on, Mike!
Another door!
Man, I hate those. Now they're surrounded with nowhere to go but up. Things are looking hopeless when suddenly the Terenzi brothers appear.
Do what I say or else!
I am the great and powerful JoJo. I command you to stop.
Not that I'm complaining, but how the hell did you escape? Was the clown sex really that good that they let you go? Well, it seems their commands got to the clowns, but as their van stalls, something begins to stir. Something big is coming. And here he comes! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, now descending into the center ring, may I present to you the one and only, the king of the killer clowns from outer space, the colossal, the terrifying Clownzilla!
I don't want to play here anymore. Can we go home now?
Well, too bad for the brothers, because they didn't want to leave their rental vehicle. They're seemingly left to die by Clownzilla. Especially when he chucks the van aside and it explodes. Jeez, why is everything so explosive in this movie? Dave decides to sacrifice himself so Mike and Debbie can escape by luring Clownzilla towards him. During the confrontation, the others escape just as the ship is taking off and the state police show up. And yeah, the clowns' ship is literally a big spinning top. But things aren't going to end on a sour note, for Dave makes one last attempt to put down Clownzilla by sticking his badge of authority right into his nose. I think the entire town is dead. At least the fireworks show was nice. But a surprise clown car lands nearby, and just as it seems like more clowns will appear, it turns out Dave and the Terenzi brothers were inside. Now, Dave I get, but how did you two survive again?
We hid in the freezer with the ice cream.
Yeah. Anybody want a dipsicle?
Okay. Now, originally, only the Terenzi brothers were meant to survive that explosion, but since the executives wanted a more upbeat ending, they shot another ending where all three of them survive. As our heroes stare at the falling confetti, Debbie wonders if this is truly over. Anyway, that's Killer Klowns from Outer Space, a fantastic horror movie with just the right amount of camp. Even with a low budget of $1.8 million, the Kyoto brothers did an excellent job with their alien and set designs, which truly captures the horror of being stalked and harassed by freaky alien clowns. The main protagonists are pretty likable, and whatever arcs they had are short and sweet for the purposes of this killer clown movie. And most of the side characters, especially Mooney, are entertaining thanks to their over-the-top acting. But the clowns themselves are the real stars of this movie. It's cool that they all have their own names that match their general appearances. The way they stalk and or kill their victims is highly creative, and their technology is weird but fitting. It's interesting to note that some of their headpieces would get repurposed for some of the troll heads in Ernest Scared Stupid. Indeed, though, this movie was certainly a hit among critics and fans, though any plans for a sequel have been met with development hell. In 2012, a planned requel called Return of the Killer Klowns from Outer Space was considered, but kept getting delayed. And there were also talks of making a trilogy, but again, nothing seems to have come from it. However, there were a couple of things related to Killer Klowns that have come out, such as a haunted house attraction at Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. But more importantly, it was announced that an asymmetrical multiplayer game in the style of Dead by Daylight would be developed by TerraVision Games and hopefully released in early 2023. Even for something this old, it's nice to see this cult classic getting some love in the modern era. Overall, Killer Klowns from Outer Space is a well-made cult classic that rightfully earns its fame among horror comedy fans. I really do hope that we see those proposed sequels someday, and hope the upcoming game lives up to the wacky and hilarious hijinks that the movie did. Definitely look into these clowns whenever you can. You will not be disappointed. With that, I think it's safe for me to leave. I can't imagine the clowns are still around after all that. Oh, crap. Right on cue. There's the exit. Damn clown. Well, good thing I know your one weakness. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Pop goes the clown. That worked. Oh, well, excuse me. And where have you been this whole time? When did you get pizza? You better save me some. I need to find the spirit of redemption.